All right, are we ready to go? Sorry for being late. It's a long drive from Duchesne on the 10th of a minute. All right, we're all here at the Uintah County Commission Chambers for Permanent Community Impact Fund Capital Improvements List 2025 and 2026. During this time frame, each entity will present their one-year list first and respond to any questions. They may also clarify projects to the list. If you're applying for a project this year, it must be on the one-year list. Also, each entity must have completed the capital asset inventory and returned to the Uintah-based Association of Governments. The list provided here today has been corrected per each entity's request from the email dated January 22nd of 25. This email was sent out to each of you to obtain public comment on the entity you represent, then compiled and sent back to UBAG. The UBAG cannot add or delete projects without consent from the entity and are strictly prohibited from doing so. After this hearing, a new list will be compiled and sent for one more review prior to being submitted to the Office of Housing and Community Development, and the deadline, the line in the sand, is May 1st of 25. In addition to the county area priority, why the projects are presented verbally and voted on at the end of the meeting after everyone has presented, each applicant is required to complete the applicant priority. As a reminder, when CIB projects are submitted to the state of Utah, another copy must also be sent to the regional planner at UBAG for his review and also to be placed on the agenda for the next UBAG board meeting. If you miss the deadline, your application will not be sent to the state of Utah per UBAG instructions until the next trimester. Please sign the attendance sheet provided in the back there. Please provide a current email address, and contacts. 2 contacts from each entity received the official packet. If you want that changed, please note on the sheet. Any questions? Okay. Where am I going next?
If we could do a few announcements real quick. Thank you, Commissioner. Just want to talk about a few of the handouts that we have in the back. First is this, it has the CIB logo on top, the Utah Community Impact Board. This is the tutorial schedule for the upcoming year, and the Uintah Basin region will be holding ours on April 17th on that Thursday at 10 a.m. at the Vernal City Office Building on the community room, which is just on that first floor. In order to apply for funding in the next program year, you must be in attendance to this tutorial. So somebody from your entity, can't be an engineer, can't be somebody that's not directly affiliated with you, can be either staff or elected official. Secondly, we just wanted to pass this out as a reminder on I can't even think what the planning process, how things work in our guides that we have for you for CIB, the policies. Just a few highlights that are different maybe a little bit than last year is that you no longer receive the physical copy unless you directly ask us to send you one. It'll just be sent in an email. And then I don't think we have any issues with any of the entities in here, but ensuring that we have the capital asset self-inventory on file. And then just a few other important things to remember that before we get into a little bit more. Attendance to this meeting is mandatory to present unless you've been asked to be excused, which a few entities here have, in order to present your project. So being here is the first step for the next program year if you plan on applying. And then also remembering that of the 3 different dates that you need to turn things in for the June, October, and February trimesters, 2 weeks prior to that, to send our office a copy of your application so that we can review it as the commissioner read and ensuring that you're on the next UBAG board meeting. And really quick too, before I turn a little bit of time over to Nate, we put together this PowerPoint to kind of give an overview of what we do here at the Association of Government and why we're part of the planning process, how you can utilize us to help you in the process, and why these things are important. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nate.
right, so I appreciate the time, and so, like Kevin said, one of our purposes as the Uintah Basin Association of Governments is to make sure that you have the resources that you need when you're applying for CIB. And Kevin and I have the opportunity, along with some of our colleagues, to go to CIB quite often as far as the board meetings are concerned out in the Wasatch Front. And so some of the things that we've seen there and how the board's reacted to those things, and some concerns that they have and that we have, we kind of want to bring it up in this presentation as far as different things that can be done to position yourself strategically in front of that board. So this PowerPoint, we've had it requested from us from Duchesne County. We're going to send it out to everyone in this room and everybody that is eligible for CIB funding. So this training purpose is to make sure that that you can strengthen your project positions for success. You can strengthen the position of your organization as well, and make yourself known strategically to the board. Also, you need to be able to see your project through the eyes of the CIB board as well. As all of you know, that board is comprised of different entities throughout the state of Utah, and 3 of them come from the Uintah Basin, which is fantastic, and they represent you. We also are going to talk about a paradigm shift that we see CIB funding as funds that, and I understand, funds that should come back to the Uintah Basin because this is where they come from, right? But how we see that funding and how we present ourselves when we ask for that funding, we need to kind of see that a little bit differently. So we're going to talk about basically the purpose of UBAG. We're here to make sure that your 1- and 2- to 5-year lists are accurate and up to date, that we provide an opportunity for you to review those applications that you submit and offer some to-dos and not to-dos with regard to asking for CIB funding. We'll offer feedback, and overall we want to provide opportunities for you to be successful. We really want you to be successful, and so does the CIB board. When we presented this to Commissioner Miles in Duchesne yesterday, he was super excited about this. He says that's exactly how we feel, and the things that they need to know when they present to the board. So let's talk about the basics of being successful. We need to make sure that 1- and 2- to 5-year lists, they're accurate. They demonstrate to the board, if you have that on there in your current projects, that that you're planning. That's part of your process as your community. They're also concerned about making sure, especially lately, the funding is limited, and they want to make sure that whatever projects you have on your 1-year list, are they shovel ready? And shovel ready for them means that they're ready to go. And the priority that they put your project on, as far as the list, it'll be a higher priority if it's shovel ready. And I'm sure that many of you that have gone and applied, you've noticed that they ask that question almost every single time, are you shovel ready? Please stay away from emergency projects. We've seen them turn down emergency projects before. They won't even hear them sometimes, because to them, it's, if you look there, it says stay away from emergency projects. It produces an underlying feeling of a lack of being prepared within your organization. It doesn't always show that, but sometimes it does. And so sometimes they will or they will not hear them. And when they do hear them, the project is scrutinized that much more because it wasn't something that was planned for. So possible board questions were, why were you not prepared for this? What other sources of funding do you have for this? And so they'll talk about that. And make sure that your project is in line with the purposes of CIB funding. The more in line your project is with CIB funding, the more likely you are to receive that funding. And if you would like, when you present your application to us for review, we can put that application into the tool that they have to see what your funding eligibility looks like. And we're more than happy to do that and see if you can change anything or add anything to that project. So if you have a hard time understanding why you're applying for CIB funding for that specific project, the board will as well. So make sure that it's in parallel line with that, the purpose of that fund. The review process, and we've seen this in the past where engineering firms that have prepared these applications for entities, I saw this a few times ago. I saw the exact same statement in the application for this entity as I did for this other entity. And it said that, this is what it said, let me see if I can find it. CIB is our #1 source of funding. And that is a big turnoff for the board, especially when they're asking the same question, what other sources of funding do you have? They want to know that you're doing your homework and looking for other sources of funding. And so when they see that, it's an automatic turnoff of, oh, well, this is the only place that they're looking for funding. So it kind of weakens your application a little bit. Make sure that you're taking into consideration the advice of UBAC staff. And Commissioner Miles yesterday he said, do not sidestep the AOG. He said for the board that looks at these applications, if they see that you've sidestepped the AOG and the resources that they offer, it's a big red flag, is what he pretty much said. And make sure that you meet the deadlines. If the application is due at this time or the review is due at this time, make sure that you're following those deadlines. Make sure that all necessary and required documents are in the application to avoid CIB staff outreach. Whatever happens with the CIB staff, it trickles down to the board. And they'll let the board know that this application was late or this and that. So please make sure that you're impressing the staff just as much as the board. Board meeting preparation, some things that we've seen. Commissioner Miles yesterday, he said accurate and complete minutes are crucial. He said if you are showing that you've had a public hearing for this project, but it's very general and very vague. He says, I want to see, and everybody else wants to see, very specific minutes that outline what you talked about in this meeting for CIB. He says meeting minutes are crucial to receiving the different funding that you receive. Make sure that the person that you're sending to that board meeting to request funding, make sure that they know exactly what's going on with that project. They're just not a representative, but they know it in detail. Know what your contingencies are. If you can't accept this amount of grant or this amount of loan, what can you accept? Make sure the person that you're sending knows those terms that are acceptable. And this is actually just part of a negotiation process. You're not negotiating for anything, but you know your limits. So know the terms that you can accept. And be prepared not to leave money on the table. There's many times that we'll see people apply for these CIB funds, and when they ask them, are you okay to accept these terms? The first reaction is, well, I'm going to have to go back and talk to the board. I don't know. Make sure the person that's going there can say, yes, I can. Or just say, we're okay with this, and then you can talk to them later if that's important. So have the right people prepared and ready to attend the meeting is extremely important. And obviously the engineer can't speak for the entity representative has to be there. So when board meeting etiquette, so when you're in that meeting, when given the opportunity to speak, make sure you highlight in a nutshell your project, the project readiness. Is it shovel ready? And how is it shovel ready? And the current progress of the project. All sources of funding that are available for that project, and express your gratitudes for CIB funding. So the do nots, some things that we've seen that, I don't know if you are familiar with Zanotti. What's his first name? Nagi. He is the nicest guy I've ever seen, and he's so nice. He's with UDOT, and I've never seen him get upset other than when some of these things happen. And even when they happen, he's still nice, but it turns him off really quick, you can tell. Do not remind the CIB board of where CIB funding comes from, especially if you are a producing county. They already know. They know where they come from. They're very well versed in the policies and procedures. They just know. And so for a producing county to mention that to them, it kind of drives them nuts. And you can tell, you can watch the board, it really bugs them. Do not argue with the CIB board. Only answer what is asked. If you offer more information that is asked, it opens up for more questions that you might not have the answers to. So only answer what is asked. Limit the sob stories. We've seen sob stories quite a bit. They are really impressed with people that are prepared. Not terribly concerned about a sob story because we all have sob stories, you know. Never mention or hint that you deserve CIB funding. They know where the producing counties are. They just know it. You know, they know that Uintah County is a producing county. We don't need to mention that to them. They will be more impressed by your preparedness than anything else. Accept the terms offered, no matter what they are. You can always decline it later. Just accept it. Sometimes they'll ask would this be better or that? In that moment, they're asking if this is okay with you. Then you can kind of talk about that, but always be grateful for that. So these are some of the things that we've seen. Would you add anything else, Kevin?
So just real quick, to tag on to what Nate has said, we do have 3 representatives from the Uintah Basin that are there to advocate on your behalf. And they will be there. They will remind the board who you are, why you're important, and the importance of the Uintah Basin. And something else that Commissioner Miles said yesterday that I think would be good to say here is, don't be afraid to call them before you go in, and they can give you some guidance and some thoughts that way. And that brings me back to why it's so important to come with and work with the AOG. When you turn in a project, you'll go before the whole entire Uintah Basin Association of Governments Board of Directors. And why that's important, it's like a mini trial run for the entity before they go before the main CIB. So you'll have 3 of the board members from actual CIB there. They can help prep you, get you ready, and they may ask hard questions there, but it'll prepare you for the future. So that's all I had to add. Oh, so you've got Jack Lytle, who's up in Daggett County, Dean Baker here in Naples, and then Greg Miles, who's a commissioner in Duchesne. And so, yeah, Commissioner Miles represents Duchesne County, Mayor Baker represents Uintah County, and then Jack Lytle represents the Association of Governments.
Does anybody have any questions really quick before we end this? So the most important thing that is we want to make sure that you're positioning yourself strategically so you can receive those funds. And we all know that we are a producing county, and the board does as well. And we need to demonstrate to them that, yes, the funds should go back here, if that makes sense. And if you need any help, we're more than happy to help out. I know that the commissioners and I know Mayor Baker is more than happy to help out as well, like Kevin said. So thank you. Oh, yes. So I'm going to mention, so we have the Government in the Basin Conference, and I'll have the flyers back on the back. If you scan the QR code, you can either register for it or you can see the tentative agenda. It looks like this. And it'll be on May 15th from 10 o'clock in the morning until about 5:30. It's free. We'll feed you, and we'll have a lot of people come out from different organizations of the state and other entities as well. Some even here, and even, you know, we've got one right here that's going to be presenting too. So, but yeah, so it'll be a great opportunity to mix and mingle, and then to get to know other people as well. So thank you. Oh, it's at the conference center just over here. So.
Is that it?
I think that's it. Just one last reminder, please pick up the policies and procedures back there. It's the most up-to-date one that we have so that you're well informed. And I think that's it, Commissioners, so thank you.
Anybody got any questions about the first year and the 5-year, 1 to 5 year? We're done. Not that easy.
I had
Okay.
a question.
Yes, your question.
Sorry,
Put
I
on
had a
the mic.
question, Kevin. Hold on. Who asked to be excused? I just wanted to make a note of who was
So-
excused.
Just so that you're aware, Ashley Valley Sewer Management Board contacted us with conflicting schedules. Ballard City also contacted us with conflicting schedules.
None of their board could attend? Did they have something, some kind of training or
So,
something?
in terms of Ashley Valley Sewer Management Board, they did not say. Because of Nate's position as the administrator advisor for Ballard City, he was asked to present those projects for Ballard. Ouray Park asked to be excused, but Ryan said he was going to present for them as well. Not Ouray, Tridell. Oh, Tridell, sorry, with Tridell, sorry. Ouray texted right before this meeting and said that they mixed up their schedule and asked us to read it, but those are the ones that asked to be excused.
Okay. I just know you say it's mandatory. But
Yes.
then you say all the
So-
different people that could attend from the different entities, and not one of those people could attend? I just have questions about that.
Agreed, agreed.
Because you are the ones who help us set that policy, then the next time we discuss it after this, please feel free to bring it up. We do put a clause in there that they can ask us to do it in their behalf, which we would be glad to. But the reason they want them in attendance is so you can all discuss what's going on. Each one of in the past, they used to try to make us do it by priority, and it just didn't work. So we moved that how how you prioritize as each individual entity is how it's prioritized going in. But you still all have to concur and agree with that at the very end. So that's why it's also crucial for him to be there and also to learn as much as possible. But if you want to look at that policy in the UBAG board meetings, because this is all under UBAG's board directions, then we can do so, ma'am. Your call.
Well, I would like for us to discuss it at a UBAG meeting, if you would please put it on a future agenda.
I probably won't put it in on the March one because we're already full.
That's fine.
But I will make sure it goes on the June one.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess with that, if you'd like, I can start with Ashley Valley Sewer Management Board. Their number one project is the lift station rehab, which is a rehabilitation of existing, what does MGB stand for? I don't know what that stands for. Million gallons.
I don't know why it says B, it's supposed to be D.
D, okay, we will fix that. Influent pump for $1.6 million, with $800,000 coming from the district. The second priority is an ionized study, infiltration and inflow sewer study for $250,000, with half of that coming from the district. And then the third would be a master and sewer model, and that would be a sewer plan performed that puts recommendation into a model for $250,000 with a 50% match. Thank you.
On those two, sorry, would you know on the study and the model, master plan and model, those are things that wouldn't go before the CIB board, correct?
So if it's under $100,000, no. Anything
Oh, these
above
are over.
$100,000 would. So I guess that's good for us to say right here. If it's under $100,000, the state staff will review it, and you don't have to go before the board.
Okay, thank you for that.
I guess I'll take it next. Thank you. So Ashley Valley Water and Sewer Improvement District has 5 projects on the 1-year priority. The first one is a raw water reline. This is a phase 2 of a project that we started last year for $2.5 million. It's relining basically 2,000 feet of the raw water line that comes from the springs. The second one is Ashley Springs measuring water quality, structure improvements, creek, waterway, and crossing and other infrastructure. $895,000 fire flow project along Highway 40 in the Naples, primarily Naples area, but Uintah County and Naples for $2 million. Water and sewer studies, sewer hydraulic model, impact fee study, and other studies. And we might break those up into individual projects so that they stay under the 100,000 threshold with CIB, but we anticipate $150,000, and then we contribute on all of these projects. And then sewer system improvements in the Ashley area for $1.5 million. If it's okay, I'm gonna, because I'm standing up here, let me jump in to do 2 of them. Tridel, LaPointe Water Improvement District. Pretty simple. They have, and their dates are wrong. They say October 24. I would put these of 26 or 25, sorry, October 25, updated master plan and mainline improvements. The mainline improvements for $2 million, $130,000 for the master plan update. And then the last one, I didn't see anybody from Uintah Water Conservancy District, but there's a joint project on the very last page. Uintah Water Conservancy District, Ashley Valley, and Vernal City. This is the Jensen Unit Pumping Plant Phase 1. For $5 million. The Jensen unit, many know it as the Burns Bench Pumping Plant. Now it's officially known as the Jensen Unit Pumping Plant. It's the last significant source of undeveloped water in the county or in the area here that can be used for industrial, municipal, and irrigation use. And this would be the phase 1 to start that. Mainly feasibility, environmental studies, planning, design type things. But that's a joint project with all of us contributing to that.
Do you know, I had some quick questions.
Okay.
Did you know on, there was something you mentioned, I'll ask the first question, which was on the last one you presented. Is that going to be sufficient for what they're wanting for the planning, or are they needing more money to do this item? And
I believe that for phase one, this will be sufficient. This is the initial design, probably more preliminary design than full-blown design. And part of that's because in the past, the Bureau of Reclamation has finalized some of those design plans. So the local entity doesn't actually do all of that work. The Bureau of Reclamation does some of it. So there'll be a blend there, but this should get us that phase one.
Okay. Seems like I had one more when you were mentioning. I can't think of it right now.
Okay.
I'll ask it at the
Call
end
me.
if it
You
comes
know me.
back. Okay,
Mr. Gordon,
yes.
just so you're aware, which I'm sure you are, in joint projects, which CIB loves, you will all need to list it on your 1 year, all of the entities that are participating, and then which one is going to take the lead.
Okay, so we'll need to modify that on our 1 year list then for Ashley Valley for the Jensen pumping unit.
Do you know who is going to be the lead?
On it, so I think you're okay the way that it's listed,
Okay.
because we have you as an applicant as well.
Okay, so lead would be Uintah Water Conservancy District, and then us, and I believe Vernal, Keith, you can speak to that as being co-applicants. Okay, perfect, thanks.
So for Ballard City, their number one project will be to improve 1,000 South, 100 or 1,500 East, going west to Ballard City limit. Their ask is $1.2 million, applied for in February 2026. Their second is a project along Highway 40, goes from 1,500 East over to 2,500 East, and the project will consist of adding sidewalks and lighting to that area to get to the charter school, which is just down by 2,500 East.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you because I'll forget my question.
Okay, no, you're good. Yeah.
So on this one, I know we talked about this one, I believe in our trails meeting, Dino Trails, and we had gone to Ballard City. We'd like to probably visit with them if this would qualify under the trails. I don't know if they allocated any percentage of their fuel sales tax like Vernal City and Uintah County did. But if they did that, we wanted to work on a project with each entity. And that was what we suggested, was they had mentioned sidewalks. And so we told them we would be willing to work with them on a project. I don't know if they've passed, I don't believe they've passed that percentage. Uintah County and Vernal passed a 15% of that tax goes into a trails, but it has to be active transportation trails, which sidewalks, I think in this case, this would be.
Yep.
So we would be happy to talk with them about that.
Okay, I can mention to Mayor Abercrombie, the sidewalk will span on the north side of the road. It'll go all the way up from 1,500 East. There's part of a
25.
sidewalk there, and it'll go all the way up to where the church is right there.
That little,
So, yeah,
Have
and
they
it'll,
checked with UDOT on this?
I don't
See
know
if they
what,
could get any funding there?
I'm not sure if they have or not, but I know that there's an existing grant that takes care of sidewalks and stuff, especially for school situations. and
right.
things.
Right.
That's something they'd probably want to check on before they go to CIB, to have an answer to that, as well as with the trails. I think it would be good to visit with us if they could
Yep, I'll
about
let-
that project.
I'll let them know.
Thanks.
Okay, the third project is the city building parking lot replacement. It needs a lot of work, and so they're gonna try to replace their parking lot. Their ask is $359,000. Lastly, for Ballard City, the fourth project is street maintenance. They'd like to do a crack seal and chip seal for 20.1 miles of road throughout the city of Ballard for $2 million is what they've asked, or going to ask, so. And then they've asked me to do Ballard Water District as well. Their only project that on the 1 year list is a 1,500 East transmission line. For water, it's a 1 mile water pipeline. The ask is $2 million.
Okay, I did have one more question. I noticed none of these showed anything in other funding. Do they have other funding that's just not listed on here? Or
I
they're
don't-
going strictly all of it from CIB?
That I'll have to ask him. I'm pretty sure that they're going for all CIB on these.
Okay, and I noticed on this, we don't talk about loan grant. Is that at a future meeting?
Based on the new tool that's come out through CIB, they've asked us to just put your total request because the tool determined kind of the parameters of what
The
will
loan
be
grant?
allowed. Yeah.
Okay.
Trudy Wheeler with Jensen Water Improvement District. We have 3 on our list. The first one is replacing meters and radio read with radio read capabilities and improve some meter pits. We're asking $2 million. We have applied for a Water Smart grant, and it's a 50-50 match with Jensen Water. That'll be $200,000 for the other funding. The second is water system upgrade, install 3 miles of 8-inch line in Red Wash Road for $5 million. Our number 3 is water system improvements, replacing aging lines from 6-inch to 8-inch line for fire flow for $2 million.
Okay, I did have a quick question. I know on your 3 miles of 8-inch, is that going to be spanning the part that Transportation District is going to be working on this next year, hopefully? This year?
So we already have a grant and loan from CIB for half of what they're doing. It's about 2 miles. So we have this on in case the road gets damaged or our line gets damaged when they're replacing the northern part of it.
Oh, okay.
So in
So
case.
this isn't for that line, it's just in case there's something that's damaged?
Yeah, so we have around the boat dock area close to the river. We already have funding for that. This is further north in case, because our line will be under the road.
Okay.
And so with all the movement, we're preparing for possibilities.
Okay, because we did just get I think the approval from BLM
Yes, we
to
did hear
start
that
on
as
that
well.
project. So I just wanted to make
Yes.
sure we were coordinating.
Yeah, we have about 2 miles in conjunction with it.
Okay,
Okay.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
Trudy, I forgot to ask you, did you guys have any other funding sources other than that 200,000 on the first project that might come from the grant?
Not at this time. So we have 100 from Water Smart and we're matching it with 100.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyone hear from Mazer?
Is anyone here from Mazer?
Does anybody want to be from Mazer?
I can read their projects. They did respond, so I'll just read what they sent us. The first priority was Painted Hills Well, which expands well house and install iron removal equipment to provide an additional 600 to 800 connections. Second, water system improvements, which would be to replace 3 creek crossing, Ashley Creek 2500 West, and Thornburg and Wilkins. Replace the transmission line 2500 West from 2500 North. Replace the transit line to the Yellow Hill area. And then the last project that they have is sewer system improvements, which would be replacing creek crossing at Ashley Creek at 2500 West, cure in place CIPP of concrete, sewer lines in multiple areas, Painted Hills subdivision, 1500 North from Painted Hills sub to 3500 West to 1500 North, 3500 West from 500 North to 2500 North, including Westridge subdivision, 3000 West from 500 North to 2000 North and including 2000 North to 3250 West, 2500 West from 500 North to 1500 North, 1500 North from 2500 West to 3500 West, and 1000 North from 3000 West to 3500 West, 500 North from 2500 West to 3000 West for 450,000.
And you don't know if they had any other funding? go?
I got the initial thing back from Dusty and I have not heard from them since, so.
Okay. Naples? Anybody from Naples?
Thank you for being here,
Hi, Mike.
Naples.
He just got me twice. I am from Mazer and I'm Maple City Manager. I said, yeah, but we have 2 projects. 2500 South from the highway to 2000 East. And then that one will probably be a good go. So we're really diving into it. We're going to widen the road, put curb gutter sidewalk on the north side. It's behind 7-Eleven down to 2000 East. And then the second one is any work on 2000 East, that if we decided to go around, we would extend that around the corner, but not looking like it unless something popped up, but more 2500 South.
Do you have any matching funding or?
We're just
other
gonna let
funding?
the thing they plug in tells you what you get.
But I mean, as far as matching any of that, of what you're requesting?
Maybe.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm asking,
we
just
do.
any matching to what
Yeah.
you're requesting?
This has been our main project, so we have money aside for it.
Okay.
It's one thing we wanted to get done, so, yep.
Okay, I was asked to present Ouray Park Water Improvement District. So they've got one project. Water source improvements is to acquire water rights to diverse water sources for stability of services. And their ask is $4.5 million. They have state and federal funding to go along with that. It's $2 million. So their total ask for CIB is $2.5 million. So.
Okay, this one's for the Uintah Basin Association of Governments. We are searching for funding to construct a new bus facility to house the Basin Transit Association with bays, office space, and a training area for $3.5 million. We've been in contact with our federal partners and with our state partners to try to amplify this funding and couple it with CIB funding. With the new administration and the way that things are going on the federal side, it's a little bit uncertain to how funding is going to be. Our main focus that we've turned to is through UDOT and state funding. We've been in contact with their regional planner that covers our region to make sure that we're on their long-range plan so that we are eligible for funding. We currently do not have a set spot or area, but are actively looking for either an existing building or to construct a new facility because we're running out of room at the jail. So we're actively searching to try to find a place. So that is our
Talk to the
project.
school district?
Many times.
Okay, just making sure.
Thank you. While we're speaking, I just want to compliment every entity in here. This is what it's truly all about, is the coordination and trying to figure stuff out. You've done an excellent job. So many, many thank yous, and we couldn't be more pleased with how you're doing this. So thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
I would like to see better attendance, but other than that,
So would
yes, yes.
Okay, Uintah County MBA.
Oh, that is, I guess I'll address that as the chair. I may ask Jenny to come up and help if I need help. But we have, number one is the county building entrance here at the north entrance. We are needing to make that into an ADA accessible entrance, and so we are trying to get funding for that. We estimate that to cost $2 million. We will bring in $1 million, or we'll have $1 million, and we're asking $1 million from CIB. Number two is the Western Park Master Plan. We requested that we get a master plan both for Western Park and Buckskin Hills, which I have been unable to find in the 2 years I've been here. So we're requesting to get a master plan for each of those at a total cost of $70,000. So those two each. So those two would fall under just staff. We wouldn't have to go to the CIB board to request those. And number four is the search and rescue building. We would like to look at, it says construct a building, but we are also looking at possibly adding on to the existing building, so it'll be one of the two. They do need more space for equipment. It's more for storage of their equipment and a training room, possibly a bathroom. So again, we're asking for $2 million, but only $1 million from CIB, and we will match the $1 million. And number five is the road department building. Our road department is in great need of an upgrade in their whole complex. It is quite old. I would venture to say 70 years old, roughly. Some of the buildings are out there, and they're in disrepair. I mean, they have maintained them well, but we need to look at creating some new buildings to facilitate the newer equipment and have the resources that they need to function better there. So we're looking at that costing 10 million with 5 million coming from CIB and matching of 5 million. Any questions? Okay.
Jensen Fire Suppression.
Okay, I'm here to do the Uintah Fire Suppression Special Service District. Number 1 is the Jensen Rescue Truck. And number 2 are brush trucks for the stations.
Okay, and
Questions?
again, no matching or anything.
Not to start with.
Okay.
And then while I'm up here, can I go ahead and do the Uintah Special Service District 1?
Yeah, if you're
Okay.
presenting for both, that's
I'm-
great.
Yes, evidently.
Okay.
So number 1 is the indoor sports facility, and that is for $15 million, and USSD 1 is presenting on April 3rd on that project. Number 2 is the golf course irrigation replacement for $1.5 million. Number 3 is the softball complex on the K property for a total of $17 million. And number 4 is park infrastructure upgrades in the amount of $1 million.
Really quick, just for us.
Yes.
We just want to make sure we get the dates right. You just want those changed to the 2025, or do you?
Yes, yes, let's change those to 2025.
But the first one, you're presenting April,
Yes, April
Right.
3rd, we're presenting on that one.
so that'll fall under
February?
April's, yeah. What does
February
that fall under? Because they
2025 or-
presented it for the
So-
February?
This is kind of in the middle ground. You can keep it on because you're already applying for it. But you haven't received it yet. Yep. So it's kind of in the middle there, so.
Well, I mean, the dates that are on here are February, June, and October, so which date should we put on that one?
So they turned it in this February already, but when we asked for this list, it was before that
Okay,
had
so we would
happened.
actually put this one as a February one then, project,
And then I would change.
or a
the-
June?
June.
Probably
June
change it
for
to
that?
June, yeah.
Okay,
And then the rest just changed to 2025.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And if she doesn't receive funding, then it still would stay there. Next year, she will remove it.
okay,
If they receive the funding.
okay.
Is that it?
Sorry. And I have to speak before Sean gets up, because I have to apologize. As you know, we've been setting up the transportation district for the last year, a little over a year, and we're still learning a lot. And I got in here and went, oh, shoot, no, we didn't talk about this, and ask someone to come to this meeting from transportation. So I texted Sean only about 15 minutes ago, if that, and said, can you run down here and be here to present for the transportation? I did prepare this in conjunction with, I worked with our engineers as well, and I'm the one that put this list together. So you can just read it, and if you have questions, I can answer any of them to help you if you'd like.
You kind of blindsided me, but it's okay. I was actually listening to the meeting minutes of the last Transportation District meeting when you text me, and we were right in the middle of this. I had missed the last meeting, so I was trying to catch up. So quite honestly, I would hope you'd kind of help me and take the lead on this, but there's 5 projects here that we're asking for funding on. The Independence Road Phase 2, Phase 1 is already funded and gonna go on. There's actually 3 phases to it, but that road over there's in serious need of help, and we need to kind of look at that and try to make sure we continue that project. And then the Glen Bench Road, I'm not sure where that's about as far as I got in the meeting minutes, and I'm not sure where they prioritized that in the last meeting.
Oh,
as
well,
far as-
we did decide to leave them just like they were on here.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
So then with that, that's just attention to roads that's in dire need of some help out in the oil field, is dealing with heavy truck traffic and falling apart, honestly. And Stanton Road's kind of the same type of situation. It runs from the Bonanza Gilsonite bagging plant to the Colorado line. That road's been a patchwork of patches for as long as I can remember, at least forever. The best I got, but it definitely needs some help. The old Bonanza Highway is the road that runs from Highway 40 back down to the actual Bonanza Highway that goes out to the Bonanza area, and it's same thing. All of these roads are in serious need of attention, so with that, I guess you know what we're looking at and what we're asking for.
Yep.
Any questions, anything?
No, just the last one. Did you do the Sunshine Bench one?
The Sunshine Bench Road, yes, that's 500 north to 1500 east. It goes out to the landfill, and it's a reconstruction project out there. It's part of a continuing as well, in a sense, because from Bernal Avenue to 500 east has already been done, and all of these projects are kind of lined up to just keep moving forward.
Yep, thank you. Thank you, you did a great
Thank
job
you.
on such short notice. I'll just add a little bit to these. We also I don't know how much we can change what we have on here before it goes, because that is part of what we were gonna do at this meeting, was also discuss any matching. We do have some of these that already are like part of a federal highways project, but it's not going to be enough. And therefore, we're gonna have that funding, plus we're going to CIB, so we will be adding that to our list.
So I guess that's just good for everybody to know. If you see any issues or anything we need to change, get with us in the next few weeks before we send out the final. And this is kind of a working document. We do this here to get the general idea of what you're looking for, but to fine tune it, absolutely, please send the changes that you need to if you have any.
Okay.
And double check us, because sometimes.
Yeah, we mess up too, as we learned that we have a B instead of a D in the place, and some of our dates are wrong. So
Okay.
anyway, thank you.
Yes, thanks.
I guess that Vernal City kiddo.
I think we're up to the Vernal City projects. And the first two are kind of in that middle ground, as been mentioned. We submitted the application last February, but we don't know yet if we're gonna get it. So those first two are those situation projects. The next one, which, that's why I have 3 number 1s in a row, because the 2 have been submitted. So our first one that's not been submitted is for some street improvements. That's some chip seal that we'll be doing on all of basically the major roads through the city: 100 North, 100 South, 500 South, 500 North, Vernal Avenue, 5th West, 5th East, etc. For $2 million. And then the second one is a CDBG project, which I think this is the first year we've been asked to put CDBG projects on this list as well. We have submitted that one for this one that's listed. That one has also been submitted, so I guess we're in that middle grounds on that one as well. This is for an affordable housing project on 600 South that will include new water and sewer, roads, and other utilities to support that development.
Keith?
Yep.
Is that below Vernal Avenue then?
So this would be like 350 east. So there's on 600 South, there's that church, and then there's an empty field right next to it. It's that area.
Just above Split Mountain Village, right
Uh-huh.
there. Okay,
Right, yeah, right below Split Mountain Village.
okay.
Yep. And then we have a study on our plan for water development, just to look at feasibility of developing whatever sources of water we might be able to find throughout the valley. Always a topic, so we want to look into what sources are out there that haven't been explored yet. Followed by a downtown revitalization project. So we've renovated the Zions block and the Cobble Rock block. The next one that we kind of have our sights on are the Sage and the 7-Eleven blocks. There's a little bit of we don't know-ness going on with those two, but we have them on there in case things fall into place. And then we have the stormwater improvements, a master plan for stormwater on the list as well.
And then we actually have 3 other projects that aren't on this sheet that we'd like to add. One of them will actually look like a duplicate of the other CDBG one. This project that we're doing on the 600 South is a multi-year, and so we want to have it on here just in case that comes up within the next funding cycle of the CIB. So we'll add that one, and then we'll also add one that is a joint project. I think Ashley Valley has it on their list, but it's with Ashley Valley, Mazer Water, and Vernal City to do a sewer master plan update. And Trudy, if Jensen wants to jump in on that and contribute, you're welcome to. Can she lead it? Yeah, she could maybe lead it, yeah. And then the last one that we have would be kind of stemming out of that water development study. If something shows up there that we need to jump on to have a water development / purchase on the 1-year list.
So you're saying the 600 South, 300 East, maybe a phase 2 kind of thing, possibly?
Yeah, that will be a multi-year request to the CDBG,
Okay.
and it'll be at 400,000 each year, right in that neighborhood.
And then on the water development, it may be building, did you say something?
So water development would be not a development as in building infrastructure or houses, but building water resources,
Okay.
developing water resources.
And do you have any idea on
So
price
on
on
that
those?
on that water resource, I should name it water resource development. That's 1.5 million. I can give you the others. The hydraulic model for the sewer hydraulic model, the joint one. We have it at 150,000, Ryan. I don't know what you had it on your list, but 150,000 for that one. The other CDBG one would be the 400,000. Everything
That's
else should
the
be shown
phase-
there.
Yeah, phase 2.
The phase 2,
Did
we
you
can
say
call it.
another 400,000?
Yes.
Okay. Do you actually have 8 total, is what I'm showing then?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. Plus the 2 that are in the middle ground. But we count those as ones.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
May I?
Is this the same?
This is,
Oh, this is what they've already got. Okay. Sure, jump in there.
okay. One thing, I've only been to CIB once in the last several years, but I did sit on the CIB board for a year. It has changed a lot, I will say. But one thing I am sensing with the CIB board, and I notice a lot of our projects don't have matching on here. I would like to see us have matching on here. I think they're looking for more skin in the game on these projects. And again, that's just my take. But I think if you come for full funding from CIB, I think they're not, I'll put it a different way. I think they would like to see more matching funds. I think they want to see you coming up with some matching funds, whether it be from grants, from other things, or money that you have saved and planned for some of these projects. So I would suggest you go back to your boards and talk about that a little bit with the projects that you've proposed. I know a lot of you are waiting for what their tool will do with loan versus grant, but I think if you come to the table with matching funds, you will have a lot better chance of getting funding. That's just my take on it. And everything else you said earlier is spot on. They don't want to hear about how we're the highest mineral producing county and how we have a lot of impacts. I think we need to go in there being a little more appreciative of receiving the funding and grateful and prepared and planned as much as possible to look at other sources of funding so that they're impressed with us. I would like to see them be very impressed with Uintah County, especially on combining with projects. As you just mentioned some of those road projects, Keith. I know some years back, they did a combined project. The city, Naples, and the county all did a combined project. They love those kind of projects. And I think we could do a lot better by getting together and planning more combined projects where we can, especially when we're gonna be working on a road anyway, that we can coordinate better to combine on those projects. And I think we'll get a lot better, more favorable outcome at CIB or any other funding if we can show we're good at working together.
We got 20 minutes to get through the 2 to 5 year plan.
No, we don't have to do that. We only do the 1 year.
Done?
Yes,
I'll keep talking then.
yes,
We have to update it,
yes.
and it comes in, and we keep it in holding.
Well, that just made my day a lot lighter.
Yes.
Anything else?
Nope, you just need to call for the motion, sir, and anybody can vote, because you're all part of it.
Nobody from Alray can vote. Nobody from Alray can vote. Mazur's kind of iffy. All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion that we approve it as presented.
Okay, Ryan, thank you. And second? Thank you. We'll call, any discussion? Okay, let's call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Unanimously. Is that it? Okay, according to the boss, that's it. Thank you at 2:33.
Yes.
Yes, I thought we had to do